guys. Okay, so basically, I'm going to go ahead and review the introduction for forensic science. And usually, I try to do this in video, so so those that are at home, could see the videos, and it will make it easier for everybody here to have access to this. Let's start with the first one. Number one, a specially trained personnel called, and these are crime scene investigators, are employed by some crime laboratories on 24-hour call to retrieve evidence and have all the proper tools and supplies for proper collection and packaging of evidence at their disposal. So these are called crime scene investigators. Number two, it says list four types of cases classified as civil law and list four types of cases classified as criminal law. So civil law, if you guys remember, these are like lawsuits or like child custody, divorce, or property disputes. Basically like a car accident and you sue someone. So basically these are civil, okay, law. Criminal law is murder, robbery, fraud, kidnapping, and so on and so on. Okay, you do need to know the difference between those two. Number three, what qualifies as an expert witness? So what qualifies as an expert witness is experience and education. Very, very important. And one of the, of course, the experience as also testimony, like if you're going to be an expert, you also have to communicate with the jury very well. Number four, list three factors considered by the judge when determining if evidence is admissible in court. So three factors is they must have something to do with the current case. The second is that evidence must prove something, and that also that evidence was also gained legally. It wasn't gained illegally, okay? So it must be gained illegally, okay? They couldn't just barge in the house without a warrant or anything like that. They have to have done everything properly and legally, okay? The next one is number five. What is the most important consideration in the gathering of evidence at a crime scene? Well, first of all is a competent collection of materials. Very important that they know how to collect the materials. Also, they must have completed the chain of custody documents, how it's passed on to one scientist or one investigator to another, and they must have documented everything, and also how they put the dates in there. And but mainly the key word here is chain of custody. It's basically a chain means like where it's hand off. Okay, so but we'll talk about that more closely, of course, in CSI stuff, and of course proper recognition of the evidence. Also adequate preservation of the samples. They gotta preserve it. So if they have like blood, they must have put it somewhere like cool. It can't. It can. You can't put it somewhere that it's hot, especially if it's outside right away. You need to put something that you could cool it off, or somewhere that it won't go to waste. Number six, the concept of general acceptance of scientific evidence, and basically this is the Frye standard. Okay, this is just a general acceptance. Okay, general acceptance. Who postulated the exchange of evidence principle? And this states that every criminal can be connected to a crime by particles carried from the crime scene. When a criminal comes into contact with an object or person, a cross transfer of evidence occurs, and this is Locard's exchange principle. So very, very important. Number eight, physical evidence can be used to exonerate or exclude a person from a suspicion if the standard reference, of course, the sample, that means the evidence, does not share characteristics with evidence at the crime scene. The next one, number 9, when are the Miranda rights required to be read to an individual? And this is when they're being questioned. Number 10, in the Stoppard versus Merle Doe Pharmaceuticals The U.S. Supreme Court advocated that a gatekeeper determines the admissibility, reliability of scientific evidence. The gatekeeper is always the judge, the trial judge. Number 11, which are the facts that affect eyewitness testimony? So this is age, use of drugs, communication with other witnesses, also the trauma, cross-race effect, and also time. Okay, number 12. A search warrant is a court order, and it must have been signed by the judge. Very important, by the judge. Number 13, the district attorney follows laws in which type of law, and this is criminal. If you guys remember, criminal is based on robbery, murder, fraud, kidnapping. Okay, so that one, the district attorney, that's when they file the lawsuit. Okay, when it's civil, it's just really just a person or a company. Okay, number 14, who established the first crime laboratory? And again, this is Lockhart. Number 15, evidence with individual characteristics can lead to determination of common origin. So single source, which type of evidence cannot yield such results? Oh gosh, I think I forgot to finish this one, but one of them would be random striations on tools. That means like like a wrench, any kind of tool. Those are random. Anybody can actually just those it's harder to determine on a random striations of tools. Equal cut of, and I think this is when the paper was equally cut. That was a lot difficult versus when they tear it off. So equally cut versus tear it off. Okay. So yeah, sorry about that. So, but I'm hoping that you guys are familiar with the individual characteristics. I don't want to go on with this, and I only have a certain amount of time here. So let me go ahead and continue on with the rest. Number 16, physical evidence is considered to have always, physical evidence is always going to be greater value than an eyewitness testimony evidence. Okay, number 17, forensic science is the application of science. And this could be criminal, like a murder, or civil laws also. Believe it or not, also like lawsuits, like car accidents. They also have, especially car accidents that were by just a bumper-to-bumper accident. Basically, they can apply forensic science there as well. Number 18, which amendment does the Supreme Court use to regulate police interrogation? We did not review that too much, but I went ahead and add that in there on police interrogation. This would be the Fifth Amendment, okay? Of course, this one, which amendment ensures that a person will be tried by an impartial jury of his or her peers? That one, and unfortunately I didn't put the answer, but that one will be considered the Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment. Okay, and the next one, number 20. If the laboratory can piece broken glass from a window or headlight together like a piece of puzzle, then the evidence is considered individual evidence. Number 21, investigating crime scenes and collecting evidence is done by a criminalist. Number 22, evidence presented in court may include opinion when the evidence is, of course, this is by the expert with eyewitness, okay, the forensic scientist. Number 23, this was a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. So identify the differences between civil and criminal law with examples. So civil is basically a person or a plaintiff they file a lawsuit. Okay, the burden of proof is pretty low, but it's for 51%, nevertheless, and it's either they're liable or they're not. Okay, if they're guilty, they pay the losses and damages. Examples are property divorce, property disputes, divorce, child custody, etc. Criminal is the district attorney is the one that files a lawsuit. Okay, the defendant has, of course, free defense. They have a lawyer, a public defender. The government needs to prove. So the government is a district attorney. They need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they're guilty. Now, if they're guilty or not, and not guilty means acquittal. Not guilty means acquittal. So that's very important. So guilty, of course, they go to prison, jail, or sometimes they even pay money on top of all this. Okay, so it just really depends. If acquittal, then they go free. Examples are robbery, murder. Okay, and now on acquittal, sometimes maybe they do file other charges. But as for now, it will be if the acquittal, then it goes free. Okay. List 4 actions that turned public opinion against Casey Anthony. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys research thoroughly, but 4 actions that turned the public against Casey is that she entered a hot body contest. She went on a shopping excursion. She also got a tattoo of Bea Vita, and she did not report Kaylee missing. Okay, these were the actions that really turned the public against Casey Anthony. Why was the hair in the trunk of Casey Anthony's car was in doubt? Because they only had mitochondrial DNA, okay, where were found. That's all they could find within this hair. And it can be, so they couldn't really directly say it came from Kaylee. Okay, so it could only mitochondrial DNA can be anyone on the maternal side of the family. Okay. Number 26. What type of evidence is material that can be related to a single source that's individual? What type of evidence is material that can be associated with a group of items that share properties of characteristics? That will be class evidence. And then that's pretty much, I believe that's it. Let me see here. That's pretty much it. And this you do on your own. Okay, I'm sure you guys could do this on your own easily, hopefully. Okay, but it is 10 points, and 90 points will be for the multiple choice questions that will be in the test. Other than that, that is it. Good luck.